So this is indeed a profoundly sad day, but a day for some closure. So we believe that we have found Bryan Vasquez in the marsh. It was actually the Cajun Navy that found what we believe to be Bryan through a drone and about 200 yards out into the marsh. I do have the captain and the CEO of the Cajun Navy, who we personally thank, y'all. They have been out here tirelessly. You brought dogs, you brought drones, you were able to do things that some of us would not have been able to do through your expertise. And so I wanted to point out that it's really the Cajun Navy who we believe have found Bryan Vasquez. I have personally spoken to the mother and extended our apologies as well as our condolences. However, this case has shifted. This is no longer a missing juvenile. This is now a death investigation. And so we will be continuing. We had started this death investigation as well a little bit earlier in the missing juvenile. However, finding Bryan was the priority. Everything else can be done at a later date or as we look for Bryan. So now we believe that has occurred. I do have our Fish and Wildlife State captain and his team with us. I have the captain and the major of the 7th District with us. And so I am willing to answer a question if I can. I will tell you, I know you will have this question, but I want to reiterate this. We know that we had a 5-hour delay. We know that. We immediately opened up an internal investigation, which is a formal investigation on ourselves for that time delay. I have said to the public that I will get back with the outcome of that investigation. I have never shied away from difficult situations or difficult topics or difficult questions, and I plan to answer all questions, but we must have facts in context before I know fully what actually happened. And so until then, I will not necessarily be able to speak beyond what you know as well. And with that, if you have a question, I'll do what I can to answer for you.
Chris? Superintendent, you mentioned that this is a death investigation.
Yes.
At this time, do you all expect any foul play?
We have not eliminated foul play. So we look at everything associated with this, from whether or not as a simple missing juvenile to, we always look at all angles, and that includes foul play.
And just when it comes to when you all stop searching, the NOPD stopped searching and then the Cajun Navy continued to search. Kind of talk to me a little bit about that. I
actually will turn it over to the chief who is over the legwork. So Chief Gernon,
Yep.
do you want to speak
Sure.
to that for
Absolutely.
me? And then if the Cajun Navy would like to speak to it.
As y'all know, Nicholas Gernon from the Investigative Services Bureau. The NOPD has been out here on the ground, but we sent out a press release a few days ago indicating that we had shifted our focus to more of an investigative means. We had obviously searched this lagoon. We had taken out much of the debris and the vegetation that was hampering our search. We deployed drones, side-scan sonars, cadaver dogs. We had airboats out here for those first critical, 4 days or so. But as we did not get results from the lagoon, we had to shift our efforts to other sightings. We were getting a lot of tips from the community, and I really want to thank the community for the tips that they called in. They may not have panned out, but they were important, right? People that had sightings of him here may have seen him there. All those may have and hunches are important to us because you never know where one little pieces of investigative thread might lead when you pull on it. So we had to shift our investigative focus to follow up on a lot of those other tips once we had conducted such a thorough search of this area. And we were really appreciative that volunteers, and specifically the Cajun Navy, came in and continued their efforts, and that led us to where we're at today.
Can we talk a little about, I know it's been 2 weeks, you said cadaver dogs, divers, drones. What actually helped you guys really get a hit on the body and everything?
So, as the chief had said, the Cajun Navy had a drone up in the area, and they observed a possible body floating in the lagoon, and they called us. And so they can certainly speak more to what they were doing this morning and yesterday.
So this is the CEO of the Cajun Navy and his captain, and he can speak directly to those issues. Go ahead, Captain.
Step up to the mic, please.
Terrell.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So this morning at daylight, we deployed another one of our thermal drones, and we knew that we had dogs here. We had dogs from 5 different states that came in. We also used this as like a training mission. So we knew that the dogs were hitting in several areas. We just never could recover, and we knew that time was getting to the point that, we may be able to find him. So this morning at daylight, we put the thermal drones up again, and of course we saw the body.
If you could talk about the condition of the body.
I can't speak on the condition of the body, and that's not for me to speak on him. He had been in the water for a little while, so there's that, but I can't speak on the condition of the body.
And as far as the family, if you all could tell me how they're doing right now, are they here?
The family is here. They're a little distraught, of course. They wanted a better outcome of it. So, but we do have some interpreters and stuff speaking with them and stuff. And of course, NOPD is doing a great job with their interpreters working with them. So they're a little distraught, but they're going to be okay.
Todd, if you could just talk a little bit about the area where the body was found. Did a shift in tide help possibly expose the body?
I'm not sure it was a shift in tide, but the NOPD did a great job of getting ring cameras from around here. So we knew that this was the last known location where Bryan was seen around 7:30 that morning, that Thursday morning. So we knew that this area, 5 different states dog teams came in, and every one of them, independent of each other, alerted to this area. So we knew that we was in the right area. So as far as, I think they closed the pumps down, so the water kind of got stagnant, which is good because it kept the body in this area right here. So just want to thank NOPD, did a good job of keeping the area closed off for us to where we can keep the public out as much as possible.
Ty, we talked to her mom when everything first happened. She said she wouldn't believe that her son was gone until she saw a body or anything. How important we saw you guys with them praying, giving them info. How important was it for you guys to finish this work?
First of all, we're a nonprofit, so none of us get paid for this. We come out here because of our own. We have search teams that came in, like I said, from 5 different states, and every one of them, independent of each other, alerted in this area. So we knew that we're in the right area. We knew that there was something that we needed to further investigate. NOPD, working with them, they kept people out here for us. There was a lot of rumors that went back and forth about the body being found, and it wasn't. So NOPD got taxed a lot with their resources. So we knew that we were in the right area, and we just stayed on it. We told the mother that we were going to stay here until we thought that we needed to go home.
All right, one last question.
Just something like this, you all didn't give up. Y'all kept going. Talk about, just what you all do. If you could just talk a little bit more about that.
We have resources that a lot of times law enforcement don't have. They do a great job of what they're doing. Gator season opens tomorrow, so we had guys that were out here with their boats, so they were able to come out here and give a few days. We had drones, we had divers, and as there was a car recovered. So we knew that this area we were in, we could also use it as a training mission, and that's what we did.
All right, Superintendent Kirkpatrick will close.
Thank you so much, Mr. Terrell. Yeah, we, as I said, this is still an open investigation for us. So we would like to encourage our community who's been a partner all along to, if they have any information, they can call Crime Stoppers. And the number for Crime Stoppers, of course, is 504-822-1111. And no tip is too small. If you just think that you have seen something or say something or you have information, please, you may remain anonymous. We don't want your name, we want your information. And that's the conclusion we have for this morning. We may have more information for you later, but as of this morning, that's what we have. And we're sorry, very sorry for the family to have experienced this loss. Personally, from NOPD, I apologize and have extended personally that we are sorry for what happened.
All right, thank you all for
Superintendent,
coming
if you
out.
could,
Chris, hold on one second.